Welcome to Jank Play TCG. My name is Landon, and here we play Jank. Today I am playing the Spinda Spread Mimic deck. I still haven't found a better name for it, and it all revolves around Spinda for the most part. Spinda is what we're going to be attacking with most of the time, and then Mimikyu is what we use to kind of close out the game. Spinda for a single colorless energy will do 10 damage to all of your opponent's Pokemon and confuse the active. You mix that with a Telescopic Sight and you're doing 40 to benched Pokemon V, 10 to everything else, and confusing the active. And that confusion is really key for the deck. We're really hoping confusion will disrupt our opponent enough where we can gain an advantage. And that advantage will hopefully lead us into bringing in Braviary to deal a little bit extra damage, 3 damage counters for each damaged Pokemon. So a little bit less damage from Spinda with the Telescopic Sight, but more damage than just Spinda by itself or Spinda against a non-Pokemon V. So we have those two to really stack on the damage, and then we have Mimikyu VMAX to place damage counters to really helpfully close out the match. You get enough damage counters on everyone that eventually, when you get Mimikyu out, there's so much damage everywhere that placing those damage counters, you get multiple KOs each turn, and you just close out the match that way. So we start off with Spinda, we start off with Rufflet. Our opponent started Pumpkaboo. That's pretty nice. If they don't have a scoop up net, then that means our path to the peak will stick. We just need to draw into it. Our opponent is going first though, so if they're playing the Lugia VStar matchup that we're expecting to run into, then we really gotta hope we top deck some sort of supporter. There's an Archeops into the discard. They are playing Lugia VStar. And there's the Lugia V. So hopefully we will be able to get a path to the peak down, and hopefully they don't play Scoop Up Net. As far as I know, Lugia VStar is not playing Scoop Up Net that much. So this Pumpkaboo is kind of staying out here on the field. Powerful colorless energy onto Lugia. So that Lugia is going to be hitting a little bit stronger than we are expecting. So we do get a Acerola's Premonition for draw. They have a 4-card hand. Seems kind of unlikely for them to have a lot of trainers in their hand, but we shall see. We'll get Bidoof down on the field nice and early. Acerola, 1, 2, 3, 4. All 4 cards of theirs were. Oof. And we miss the stadium. We only play 3 copies of it, so it's not surprising that we miss. It's just disappointing. Spinda does get an energy though. Dizzying Spin, 10 to Pumpkaboo, 40 to the benched Lugia V, and we are off to a decent start. Now our opponent does need to get another Archeops in the discard, so as long as they didn't top deck. Nope, they have Evolution Incense in hand, and they have, I believe, Professor's Research and Serena. So they have a lot of ways to get that Archeops into the discard. Hopefully they don't get into a Lugia VStar. That would be the big one. Yep, they grab the Archeops with the Evolution Incense. And Serena, okay. What cards are they going to discard? Obviously the Archeops, but they probably want to discard and the Professor's Research. What were the other 2 trainers? No, the other 1 trainer. And then their top deck. What were those things? Because why wouldn't you just play the Professor's Research at that point, right? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it was a special energy that they felt like they just couldn't get rid of. But that is going to give us a little bit more time here. So hopefully that works out in our favor. Wow, there it is. The top deck of the century. Or at least of this game. So it really hurts discarding both Pal Pad and a Air Balloon, but we are getting our Bibarel, and it looks like our second Bibarel's in the prizes, so no sense in setting up a second Bidoof here. Okay, we get some pretty nice cards. I'm loving all of this so far. We will capture energy this Spinda so we can grab another Rufflet. And we can put that Rufflet Yep, it goes right onto the bench. Play down those telescopic sights. We've got Ultra Ball, and I'll just wait. Visiting Spin, we will deal 40 to each Lugia and 10 to the other two. Beautiful. So now with Path to the Peak out, our opponent needs some way to get rid of it. Most likely a counter stadium. Like I said, I don't think they play a... what am I trying to say here? I don't think they play a scoop up net to scoop up this Pumpkaboo and play it down again. There's a Marnie. That's going to give us a brand new hand, which is pretty good for us, actually. I was going to Ultra Ball away and, you know... Okay, so our plan really hasn't changed much. We do have a Horror Energy. I can Ultra Ball away the Tool Scrapper and the Quick Ball for a Braviary, or I might want to start thinking about getting Mimikyu out now and start powering it up. So they do get the Lugia VStar. They'll be able to evolve up one of their Lugias. I do wonder which one they're going to do. This one has more damage but has an energy. The other one less damage but no energy. They go for the more damaged one, which does actually benefit us quite a bit. Primate Wisdom. They gotta find something to get rid of this stadium, or they're gonna be slowly attaching energy while I am just spreading. There they go. This is able to get rid of the stadium card. Isn't it? Yep, there they go. They are off to the races. So now... Path to the Peak really won't help us anymore. And they still have to get Pumpkaboo out of the active, so most likely going to use Archeops to accelerate a double turbo energy onto Pumpkaboo so it can manually retreat into the Lugia VStar, which another Archeops will probably put a double turbo and a powerful colorless on this Lugia and get that going. But we do have another Spinda up and ready that can confuse this Lugia if we don't top deck into a boss's orders to drag up the other Lugia and spread more damage onto this Lugia VStar. That is my current plan. Now, the big question is, do I go for the Mimikyu or do I go for a Braviary? I'm not 100% sure right now, actually. Okay, so they went with Capture Energy and a double turbo, which actually does help us out quite a bit. Just less damage on the Mimikyu. I don't think it's going to change anything from like a 2-hit KO to a 3-hit KO. It's going to change it to where they did not power up for a 1-hit KO with Lugia VStar. Now, I think they could still power up to a 1-hit KO with the other Lugia V, but we'll see if that's what they go for. The good thing about going with Mimikyu right now would be the fact that we can use Mimikyu's ability to give it immunity for a turn. So if they boss it up and that kind of stuff, we can keep it alive. So we will... Let's see. I will Ultra Ball away Telescopic Sight and Tool Scrapper. And we will grab Braviary. Then we will use Bibarel. And then use Quick Ball to grab Mimikyu. I think that is best of both worlds right now. Yeah, I can Quick Ball away the Quick Ball. Because I don't think I'm going to need many more basics after this. Maybe another Spinda in the future, but not right this second. So Mimikyu comes down. Dummy Doll, we will use its ability. Give it immunity for a turn. Horror Energy. And I think we're golden right now. So let's just swap into the Spinda. Dizzy Spin. Deal a good amount of damage to all the bench. Lugia VStar has 190 hit points left and is confused. So if they flip tails, at some point we'll be in a much better position. That's what I'm hoping for. For them to flip tails, either before they attack the Spinda, that would be really good, or before they attack and knock out the Braviary, that would also be really good. Then that gives us plenty of time to try to find the Mimikyu VMAX and an Acerola's Premonition. Remember, we do have one in the discard currently. So we only got 3 left in the deck as long as none are prized. Primate Wisdom, they're digging for that extra card. What is it, though? Professor's Research, discarding their whole hand for a new hand before they accelerate energy. I question that move just because once it's in your hand, Archeops can't accelerate it. So accelerating energy before you play your draw card is usually preferred. Tails! Yes, that is beautiful for us. Absolutely clutch. We get our other Spinda. This is amazing. We are getting everything we could want. I can play this Air Balloon down on Mimikyu. Is it worth it? I think so. So I'm going to do that. And then we're going to draw 4. That gets us an Ultra Ball and an Acerola's Premonition. We don't need everything this turn. But we want the Pal Pad, we want the Acerola, and the Ultra Ball can search us out. So I'm going to attach to this Spinda. And then Dizzying Spin. Because we still do need another Horror Energy for Mimikyu. It can be used with Capture Energy, so worst case scenario, I'll go that route. But right this second, I really would prefer getting another Horror Energy on a Mimikyu V, and oh man, I probably should have just accelerated the evolution, discarding the Capture Energy and the Tool Scrapper to get the evolution, because if they gust up Mimikyu V, it no longer has the invincibility. So 50-50 chance whether they KO it or they don't. So we're getting a good amount of damage on everyone. That Pumpkaboo is almost KO'd. Heads. So they get heads this time. Tempest Dive, knocking out the Spinda, taking their second prize. We are going to put up the Bibarel, but retreat into the Braviary most likely. Because right now, Lugia VStar has a little bit too much health. It's not really going to be beneficial to us to put the Mimikyu up, or the Spinda up. Get a Quick Ball. We don't need the Quick Ball, and we don't need the Tool Scrapper. So those two can go into the discard, and we can grab Mimikyu VMAX. And here we go. We're going to be much harder to KO. Let's draw some cards. We get another Braviary, so we could delay going into that a little bit long. Going into Mimikyu a little bit longer. We also get a Telescopic Sight for a Spinda, which will also be extremely useful. But we're going into Braviary now, because if they don't do anything with this benched Lugia V, then we are in a fantastic spot. We get one prize card off of the Pumpkaboo for that. Oh, that's funny. So if they don't do anything with Lugia V, I know Lugia VStar can be kind of launched in one turn. So it's not a guarantee we're doing great, because they could just be holding on to their evolution and holding on to attaching energy from this by using these Archeops for a reason. I don't know the reason, but they could be. Archeops accelerating energy now. Are they putting onto the Stoutland? Right now, the only basic I have is Spinda. Pretty easy for them to knock out. They'll take one extra prize, so 2 prizes for this Spinda, which could be their closing move. So I'm a little concerned about that. But they would have to retreat this and bosses up the Spinda just for that one thing. And I'm not sure if that's actually the best move right now. Because they would take 2, they would be down to 2 prizes. Then I would put up Braviary, get a little bit more damage spread everywhere. And then they would knock out Braviary. Oof, 200 damage. Okay, that's actually quite a bit that Stoutland can do against Mimikyu here. Plus the 3 powerful colorless, you're looking at 260 with a choice belt. It's still not one-hit KO territory, but it's darn close, and I'm not a fan of that. So they do retreat the Lugia into the Stoutland, no longer dealing with confusion. Lugia's got 120 health left, but the Stoutland, yeah. Which one are they going for? The Spinda or the Mimikyu? The Spinda. Okay. So we do lose our confusion for the game, basically. But we'll be able to put a Hisuian Braviary up, get a few more damage counters everywhere, and hopefully that will make the difference. Okay. Opponent is selecting prize cards. How many Spinda do we have in here? 3? Okay, we can recover 2 of them. And I'll put up the Bibarel. We can recover 2 of them with Ordinary Rod. We got Boss's Orders. I don't know if Boss's Orders really does much for us right now. I think the better move is to Ordinary Rod 1 Spinda back in. We don't want too much in the deck right now. We're going to Acerola, I think. Let's Acerola. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4? Okay, okay. We get the Spinda back. It's dangerous to play the Spinda. That's my only issue. We will shuffle back in these Acerolas. Done. We have a Capture Energy. We did not get a Horror Energy, which was a worry of mine. But we can retreat into the Hisuian Braviary and just get a few extra damage counters. And I think that's all that we can do right now. So, Lugia VStar will be knocked out with 90. That one with 40. That's going to be 4 prizes. And then they will attack into Mimikyu. That's if they don't play Boss's Orders. I should have looked. I don't remember seeing one, but I have a terrible memory. So, Lugia VStar. Okay, so we can't get that KO as easily, but we can get an Oranguru, and then that's 100. Oof. That's just out of reach as well. We are so far out of reach with everything, sadly. That's what it seems, at least. To get enough KOs in enough time. Well, maybe not. Because we can get one with the Lugia VStar and the Oranguru, and then the following turn get one with the Lugia VStar. So actually, we might have this. Because Mimikyu's not going to survive that much longer. As long as they don't play a boss. I would love if they play, there's Serena. To gust up the Mimikyu. There we go. So, we did lose this one. That is too bad. I mean, I've got a gutsy play. Nope, that won't do it either. I was going to say, let's throw down the Spinda, confuse the Stoutland, but then they'll just retreat into the Lugia. Dang! Dang. So close, so close. Yeah, Serena. You know, I keep forgetting about that card, right? We could boss up the Oranguru and hope they can't retreat. That's really all I got so far. How many DTEs do they have in the discard? 2. They got 2 in the discard. I know a lot of them don't play more than 2. So, yeah, 160 left on this Stoutland. There's the second Horror Energy. We can't attach that if we boss up the Oranguru. We'll attach. I'll play down Path to the Peak, although I don't think it does anything. Incisors, the Braviary. Our hand's just getting crowded here. 4 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon any way you like. That's 90. That's 100. We will just stack them onto there. So they need a switch or accelerate 2 energy from the deck onto Oranguru and then retreat. Pretty sure they're going to get this KO. Pretty sure. They might not. I mean, this boss play is our last hope. Primate Wisdom, probably putting a special energy from their hand on top of the deck so that Archeops can accelerate it safely. I know Lugia VStar plays a ridiculous amount of energy. Yep, attach one from hand, then they can accelerate the one they just put on top of the deck onto Oranguru and retreat. I'm sure that's the play, right? Primal Turbo. Opponent's attaching cards. Yep, there we go. So close. Oh, man. Would have been fun. Would have been fun. We did miss out on the Acerola Premonition regardless, so I don't actually think we would have won this, sadly. Without that Acerola Premonition, we don't get the 13 damage counters, and we did not have a chance to win. But maybe I could have pushed. If it relied on drawing that, I would have played down the Spinda. I would have played the Capture Energy, maybe even move a basic if I have any. I think I do have one from the deck onto the field and tried to draw a little bit harder, but sadly it just could not work. We didn't get it in time. We played the Mimikyu, I think, a little bit too early, but that's the thing with this deck. Sometimes you have to, when you have the Horror Energy in hand, you kind of have to get that Mimikyu out, and because you don't know if you'll have that energy in hand later, and it's really difficult to just get it to work. But I hope you guys enjoyed this look at the Spinda deck. It did basically function, so, you know, I did enjoy playing it there. I hope you guys enjoy what you're seeing. Yes, Manaphy probably hard counters this deck pretty much. So, you know, it's not going to be the greatest deck out there to take wherever you go, but I still think it's a fun one. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy all the content that I'm making here, and until next time, keep playing Jank.